Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Nick and today we're going to be looking at the N64. Now the N64 released in 1996 or 97, so it's nearly 25, it's about the same age as me, 25 years ago it was released. That's quite a long time ago, so now this stuff is considered retro, which is weird. So I remember playing the N64 since I was a kid and I've absolutely loved it, and I always wanted the charm, and I played PS3, PS2, PS5 and shit. And I always wanted something that just had charm and had fun, whimsical sort of animations, and was just a really fun, basically platformer is what I was after. And after years and years of playing all these new games, there was nothing that really got to that height that Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie did. These titles are just ingrained in my brain, and those starting levels are ingrained in my brain where when I die, I want to be flown up into heaven and I'm inside, Cocoa Mountain or some sort of starting area in either Mario 64 or Banjo-Kazooie. I think that would be great, and I just sort of run around there for the rest of my life and I listen to the music and I'm actually Banjo, which is really fun. So off topic, but let's get into this. So the first thing you want to be looking for when you're buying an N64 is, what's the condition like? Do you want a colored version? How are you going to run it on your TV? TVs these days, classic boomer moment right there, but TVs these days, they don't have any AV inputs, and that's the main way that you would plug up an N64s, with the yellow, red and white cables. They don't really have those anymore. Unless you have a CRTV or an older TV, then you can plug it straight in and it'll be good to go. But if you have a TV or a monitor that's a HDMI input, then you're going to need to buy a N64 to HDMI converter. There are ones that plug straight into your N64, and that's one I have right now that's running in the background. You can see from the image quality that, yeah, it's not the best. It's still got pretty blurry edges and it's got nothing on it, so it doesn't look amazing, but hey, it's going to get the job done. It still looks great, and there's some points where I'm like, damn, this looks pretty impressive for when it was released. So just be aware of how you're going to plug it up into your TV is my point there. Another thing too is, do you want a color? Now, if you're buying an N64, you probably want a colored one. I've here got an ice blue N64. You can see it right there in all its hot and amazing glory. Depending on what color you want, you got a variety of colors. You got the purple, blue, orange, red. They're all pretty expensive is where I'm going with this. So if you want a colored version, buy them now, because they're only going to go up in price. And I'm not some sort of Bitcoin inside trader sort of thing. I'm just saying that I've been watching these consoles over the past few years, and when I started off I bought this for $160 from the UK, and now they're worth $250 to $350. So they're really going up in price in these past few years because people really want them for their collections, and I'm really happy that I bought it at such a cheap price of $160, and I didn't have to spend $300 to $400 just for a console, when you can buy, like a used PS3 or used PS4 with a bunch of games for the same price. So you got to put that into perspective of what do you really want it for. I wanted mine, of course, for platformers, man. I'm a big platforming gamer. Platforming is my favorite genre of games, and if that's your favorite genre of games, you are going to love the N64, because baby, do you have a whole plethora of platformers on this console. Let's start with a few, and I'm going to give you guys some recommendations of my favorite platformers and just games in general for the N64. We're going to start it off with a big one. We're going to start it off with Donkey Kong 64. Now, this game is one of my favorite games of all time. It is a lot of fun, and I only recently played through it about a couple weeks ago, and I never really played through it. I always wanted to play it as a kid. I just didn't have enough money for it. I remember pulling my mom's shoulder, being like, "Mom, please buy me Donkey Kong 64. I really want it." But it didn't happen, so I get to play it now when I'm 24 years old, and I get to have a boxed version with all the ink cuts and manuals, which is really, really fun, and all the cool things on the back. It's just really cool. So this one's a really fun game. Do recommend it. If you like Donkey Kong, you're gonna love Donkey Kong 64. It is a bit monotonous and it's a bit repetitive, and it gets kind of boring at points, and you're like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? I've just spent hours collecting 100 of these red bananas, and it just drives you insane, but it is a lot of fun. So I do recommend that one. The next one I recommend is, I'm sure you're not surprised, it's going to be Super Mario 64. This is my favorite game of all time. I absolutely love this game. When I die, as I said, I want to live inside the castle, Peach's castle, that opening stage with those birds fluttering and those trees and the almost ray tracing that this game has for being in the 90s. There are some points where there's reflections from the sun in this game, which amazes me and is really cool. and some of the cloud effects and animations look really, really good. So overall, this is one of the best games. If you have not played Mario 64 yet, you need to play it. It's one of the best games of all time. It's my favorite game of all time. It is the best. Amazing. Now, if I go behind here, I've got a bit of a different one for you that you may not have ever heard of before. This is Perfect Dark. Perfect Dark is a shooter similar to 007, but a bit more complex than 007. And I think it's a better, controversial opinion, but I think it's a better shooter than 007. And I know I'm going to probably get shot saying that, but it's a pretty good game. So I recommend that. It's MA15+, which you don't really see on the N64. It's more of a kids sort of game, but kids console, but this is a really good game. Do recommend it. And of course, my heaviest box is Zelda Ocarina of Time Collector's Edition in the gold box with the gold cartridge. You know what it is. You know exactly. I don't really have to say much. Every person who's ever played games knows Zelda. You know, it's a staple. It's a staple. It's a really good game. I've played a bit of it. I haven't played through the whole thing yet. I am planning on playing through this whole thing, but what I've played so far, you can already tell it's quality. You know, it's one of the best Zelda games of all time. People say it's the best Zelda game of all time, and it's just really good. So I recommend that one. So I'm going to stack this one up here. Really hope it doesn't fall. There we go. Alright, so that's all my games you can see there. I've also got a few more here, some loose cartridges, which I'll show you guys too. This is Banjo-Kazooie. I'm sure you've seen this before. It is one of my favorite games, top 2 I would say. It's about a tie between Super Mario 64 and this game here, Banjo-Kazooie. The sounds, the music, the characters, the ikam gokam, and just everything in it is just amazing, and I absolutely love. It's incredible. I love the I love all of it, man. Like, it's the best. It is really, really good. If you haven't played Banjo-Kazooie, man, you need to sit down. Don't worry about the new PS5 games. Don't worry about any of that shit. You need to sit down and you need to play the new Banjo-Kazooie. I was gonna say the new Banjo-Kazooie, but it's like 30 years old now, so it's definitely not new. The next one I have, not surprising, is Banjo-Tooie. Now, Banjo-Tooie is the second Banjo-Kazooie. It's a really good game. It's the same premise. They've added new features. There's new worlds. It's pretty much the same thing, but just newer. So that's really, really cool. Do recommend this as well. It's the best. If you haven't played it, man, you got to sit down. Again, this cartridge here, this Banjo-Tooie, it looks pretty simple, but it's pretty fucking expensive. These things are like, I spent like $150 just on this cartridge. And it hurt my bank account, but I wanted it so badly, so I just thought, fuck it, I got money, I don't care, I'm gonna buy it. So I bought it, and you can buy repo copies of these for like 40-50 bucks on eBay if you want to do that. The copy I have of Conker's Bad Fur Day that you can see running in the background is a reproduction copy. You would know why, if you know anything about N64s, you'd know why I have bought that. That would be because it is very difficult to find a copy of Conker's Bad Fur Day for under $200. It's going for $200 to $300 around that price. Boxed versions of Conker's Bad Fur Day goes for around $1,000. So I'm not spending that amount of money just to play Conker's Bad Fur Day, but I really wanted to play it, so I bought a copy of it. Fake copy, but I used to have a real copy of it, so in a way I feel like I'm justified because I've given that company Rare. I've given them my money. Anyways, guys, that's really it. My next video, I'm going to do all my cartridges, and you guys can have a look at that too, and also my collection of games. So, thanks for watching. Have a good day. I don't have an out. Bye.